I once ignored a fireman's order to evacuate a building because I assumed he was just a bloke in fancy dress.
Please, team.
OK, when was this?
When I was at university in 1841.
Were you the only person who didn't leave?
No, I don't think so. It was a student party. It was sort of fancy dress.
Oh, you were all in fancy dress?
OK.
OK.
Yeah.
What had you gone as?
I think I took a pretty easy option and I went as a Roman.
Well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
A sheet.
It's not a Roman.
Oh, not a Roman soldier, just someone who was around in the Roman era.
A senator, not a centurion.
A Roman or a ghost?
So, first of all, where was the fire? Was it in your room?
Well, it was a fire alarm. I wasn't in the proper party, but I was in my room with the door shut.
So how did the firefighter get in touch with you if you were locked away in your own room?
Well, he banged on the door and went, "Fire service."
With all due respect to your sheet, you must have been quite impressed with his costume.
I was.
How did the conversation go?
Right, I was in my room with someone else. We were busy.
Who were you?
Is this how the fire started? Because I know what you're like, Joe. You like to set fire to them.
Actually, we were revising.
Oh, right. What was he dressed as? You were a Roman. What was this other person?
He wasn't dressed as anything.
So there's a banging. And
There's a banging on the door.
And you stand up. Now, Joe, I expect better of David,
Rob.
who was the first person to titter. Let's try and have a level tonight, please. Joe, there was a banging.
On the door.
Banging,
yes.
banging, banging, banging. And then you heard the door. What happened?
What happened was this guy shouted, "Fire, please leave the building," right?
Yes.
So I just thought it was some drunk bloke mucking about.
Yes, yes.
So I said, "Could you please go elsewhere?"
What was your gentleman caller's reaction? Or was he still unconscious?
My gentleman caller was the same as me, very entertained.
What do you think, Henning? Is she telling the truth, yeah?
There is a few inconsistencies in that story.
Like?
Well, the thing about the fire, I don't believe.
We can stop there, then.
It's not, to be fair, an inconsistency, is it? There's nothing inconsistent about it. It's just it either happened or it didn't. It's not like a fire and I was in a lake. That would be an inconsistency.
So you're picking holes in Henning's command of the English language.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should continue the rest in German to give him a fighting chance, yeah? Simon, what are you thinking?
Part of me thinks it could possibly be a lie.
You're going to say lie because you think that the story has got inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to annoy David now.
I think I go with Simon.
So you're going to say it's a lie?
Oh, absolutely. With them kind of inconsistencies.
OK. Joe, were you telling us the truth or were you telling a lie?
It was, in fact, the truth.
I was once dragged into the headmaster's office after I was caught leaning out of a window and firing a cream egg into my friend's mouth with a catapult.
Was this when you were a teacher or a pupil?
I'm ashamed to say it was when I was a teacher.
So, can you describe the setup?
I was teaching in a drama studio on the ground floor, and I could see my friend who was teaching economics on the second floor at the end of the building.
So it's a cross. Is there like a courtyard in between?
Yeah, playground.
Playground? And...
You went to different schools, didn't you? Did the moat not get in the way, or was it... Right, goody, the bell's gone. Let's go to the courtyard.
You're firing over the croquet lawn.
I'd confiscated a catapult that morning from a child.
OK.
I was in my drama studio. There's an office. I closed the door and let the children do whatever they used to do in my lessons. And I hung out of the window. I saw my friend, Gavin.
Yeah.
And I went... It was the height of summer.
Right.
So Gavin is in the middle of an economics lesson, and he goes, oh, there's my friend. Gosh, he's holding an unwrapped cream egg. And he goes...
It wasn't quite that instinctive. I waved the catapult at him, and he was baffled at first. And then I could see him distracting his children by setting them some mundane task. Then I revealed the unpeeled egg.
Which, by now, by the way, hashtag height of summer, melting. They melt very fast.
Here's the thing, Claudia. I genuinely had a mini fridge in my office because... I did, because I regularly abused the drama budget. I'm sorry, but I was very bored. I bought a mini fridge. And just to add colour, I'll tell you this, I bought a top-of-the-range DVD player and I swapped it for one that my grandmother had given me. Took a really nice one home. Separate story.
Can we say that we believe that story?
That's a true story. I've got a technical question about the window.
Yeah.
Good.
Because in schools, windows only open to a very small, certain point, so the kids can't jump
Especially
out.
on the second floor.
Wow, how rough was the old school that you
Bad.
taught?
Really bad.
You couldn't only in case they jumped out.
Yeah, just in case they jumped out and drowned in the moat. So basically... You've got to... That window will only open to a certain point.
Yeah.
The window did only open half, so Gav had to get on his knees and position his head. His head virtually filled the amount of window that was open. It was a slide-up window.
Where was the headmaster at this point? Walking through playground/courtyard?
He was in his office, I imagine, pretending to do work.
Oh.
And here is the thing that will convince you one way or the other straight away. Gavin... I would say it was 25 foot, and Gavin did catch it in his mouth.
What are they clapping?
You lot are going to feel so stupid if that's a lie.
What do you think, David's team? Does it ring true for you?
I do believe the lie is being packaged with real stuff. So, confiscation of the...
The mini fridge is true.
Yeah.
True. The confiscation, yeah.
Everything around the lie is true, but the lie is still a lie.
OK, let's go. Let's go.
We'll go lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Greg, was it the truth or was it a lie?
There were elements of truth, but yes. Damn you, that's a lie.
I once dumped my boyfriend on a plane, then parachuted straight out of the door to avoid dealing with the aftermath.
David's team.
Wow. So what was the plane? What was the context?
It was with the army. I was doing a sort of army exercise because I was being taken on by the Royal Engineers as a sapper, a celebrity sapper, and I had to detonate a bomb and do all sorts of things. And one of the things was a parachute jump, and my boyfriend came with me sweetly.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what a sapper is?
No.
No.
David,
Sounds like the army.
David has an awareness of the military. What is a
What do you
sapper?
mean I have an awareness of the military? A sapper is a sort of soldier.
Thank you. That's me.
Did you plan on breaking up with your boyfriend
Well,
this trip?
It wasn't going well, and I thought I had been trying to work out the exact moment when it would be good, and he really wanted to come with me on the day, and to be honest, I wanted to go on my own because there's just going to be me and about
loads of soldiers.
1,000 soldiers.
We've all had days like that, Annika.
And as the day progressed, I just got more and more annoyed that he was there. And then we went up in the aeroplane, and he just said, I don't think things are really going well. You seem a bit distant today. And I just said, I don't think it's working in...
And the man in charge was thinking, I hope she doesn't mean the parachute.
Was he then going to follow you? Was your boyfriend jumping
No,
as
he
well?
didn't have a parachute.
Oh, well.
So he
Well, I hope he
didn't.
didn't just out of instinct follow you. Come back!
Is your love admin, do you think, a reasonable use of our defence budget? I mean... what? I mean, if
What was the altitude when you jumped?
I don't know.
Well, you must... They didn't say.
Does 1,000 feet, 15... Who parachutes?
1,000 feet?
I mean,
That's low.
I would say 8 to 12 or something like that.
8 to 12 feet.
I find that quite challenging. What are you thinking? Is she telling the truth? Did this happen?
Well, I have one problem with this story, which is that if you're thinking you need to, you know, end your relationship, that's potentially an embarrassing, awkward moment, something you might be inclined to put off. And one of the things, if I were you, I might be inclined to put it off until after, is the occasion when I have to jump out of an aircraft. Because
This is why there's never been a popular programme called Challenge David.
Well, yeah, but...
People would set you some brave challenges and you'd very calmly and rationally explain why you couldn't possibly do them.
But assuming, hypothetically, that I have agreed to jump out of an aircraft...
Yes.
Yeah.
I would not have that conversation just before I jumped out of the aircraft. I'd think, well, I might, you know, look on the bright side, the fall might kill me, in which case I'd never have to have the conversation.
She did say that she hadn't planned to. It was because he said, you seem a bit distant.
Yes,
And
but not as distant as she seemed a second later as she fell towards the ground.
Samson, what are you thinking?
I can't buy it. Like, I would have just broken up with him on the ground.
I think it's almost certainly true.
Almost certainly true.
Yeah.
So what are you going to say, David?
I think it might be true.
Annika, jumping out of a plane and breaking up, was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
I once ruined a date when I punched myself in the face.
David C.
What was the context?
We were doing party tricks, and she was doing all these kind of like... She's double jointed, and she was doing all this...
Be careful with this, because you've already admitted you punched yourself in the face.
So she was like, come on then, what's your party trick? And I was like, well, I can kind of do this punching thing where, like, I don't actually punch myself, but I kind of, like, move with it, you know, like, but I still get the sound. I've got a massive neck.
Yeah.
Show us it, show us it.
OK, so it was basically like, it was like that. You know? It doesn't actually hurt, but...
Wow.
It looks pretty good, right? But
Certainly, if you're trying to impress a young lady on a first date, you'd be hard-pushed to find anything better than that.
So, as you can see there, it's not great, and that was the problem. What I did is I kind of, like, forgot to move with it, because that's the whole thing, you move. I clipped my jaw, and the side of my cheek started bleeding. She didn't realise this, but I could feel the blood filling up in my mouth. So, I went to the toilet, I went, hey, I'll be back a minute. And then I was in the toilet, and it wasn't stopping. It was, like, my tongue and my mouth, and it was, like, literally pouring out of my mouth. And then I started getting paranoid, because I'm like, I've been in here for a while, she's going to think I'm having a poo.
There's nothing worse than coming back from the toilet when someone thinks you've had a poo and your mouth's bleeding. It's not great English, is it?
And yeah, I was in there for at least around 15 minutes. It wasn't stopping. And then I just went home and I turned my phone off and I never saw her again.
You're not serious.
Yeah.
You walked out of the
I
restaurant.
left. I couldn't...
How far through the meal were you?
No, I mean, we were just waiting for starters. It was like... Then that's
Worse? Well, so she sat there like this still.
If you're waiting for starters, that means you've ordered the meal, so a bill is coming.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. I'm really...
Was she in touch with you to ask what happened?
Well, yeah, kind of, but I didn't reply. Should I punch myself again? I feel like...
Imagine your first date, Victoria. The first time, there must have been the first time when you and David went out together. What was his party trick? What did David do for you?
David went for the more old school, sort of wit and charm, no, let me get this.
Why, what had you dropped?
Although I was already besotted before we even went on the date. He could have punched himself in the face, I wouldn't mind.
I've actually got the taste of vomit in my mouth.
How does this seem to you?
It seems ungentlemanly.
It is. I'm very ashamed of it, and it was a long time ago. It was around 6 years ago. I would never do that again.
You're so obviously embarrassed about it, I think it must be true.
What do you think?
I think it might well be true as well.
Yeah, I think it's true.
OK, you're saying true.
Yeah.
Asim, was it true or was it a lie?
It was...
True.
Yes. I once had to break into my own flat halfway through a haircut.
David. Oh, interesting. So, tell us the scenario.
I was having a haircut.
Where were you having a haircut?
On the doorstep of my flat.
Now, that's an unusual location to have a haircut.
You know why? Because he didn't want to clean the hair that was on the floor in the flat, so it's outside, so just to push it.
Yeah, I can understand why you might
The
have
more work you can do for me, Fred, the more... thank you very much. Yes, that's why.
Why weren't you in a hairdresser's or barber shop?
Do you want to take this one, Fred? Appreciate that. Didn't have much money at the time, and my flatmate was pretty sure that she could cut my hair. She was pretty confident.
But why outside?
Because if you do it inside, you've got to sweep up all the hair. It's too messy. We thought if we did it outside, we wouldn't have to do that.
But was there a plug?
Huh?
Was there a plug outside? Was it clippers, scissors?
Oh, it was just scissors. That's all we had.
So it was an acoustic, as it were.
Yeah, it was an acoustic haircut, unplugged session.
What was the haircut?
Well, it was meant to be something close to this, but as it got interrupted halfway through, so it ended up that it was short at the front, short at the back, and kind of like that at the side, like quite long. Like someone took a mullet and went like that.
Yeah.
So she wasn't trained as a hairdresser?
In no way, shape or form.
And you did not mind that she was going to cut your hair?
It was an adventure.
Were you high?
Was I?
High?
No, we were on the bottom of the flat. We were...
I love that.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much.
They don't respect this kind of stuff, but I love that.
Now, you said that you were interrupted. What was the interruption?
Oh, well, we realised that we'd locked ourselves out the flat because a cat wanted to get in the front door. Asked each other, you got your keys? Neither of us had brought our keys out.
Was it your cat?
No, it wasn't our cat. It was just a cat wanted to get in the door, and we weren't going to be like, who you visiting?
So this is not the door to your flat. This is a door to the block of flats.
Yeah, we were outside, like outside.
So which floor did you live in?
I think we're on the 3rd floor.
So how did you get up there?
We asked some builders for a ladder. I asked them first, and they said no. And then my friend asked them, and they said yes. And at the time, I was all like, I was a bit stupid. And I was like, they're just letting you because you're a girl. And then she pointed out, you've got half a haircut and no shoes on.
Did you consider, when you noticed you've been locked out,
yes.
did you consider finishing the haircut before trying to get back in?
I had to be in central London quite soon for a gig. And my wallet and everything was in the flat. I wouldn't be able to travel there. So I needed to act now. So I couldn't finish the haircut. Luckily, I'm a comic and I'm allowed to look silly.
All right, what are you thinking?
I don't think so. Why would you get somebody to cut your hair with scissors? I mean, if it was clippers and you had a haircut like me, I'd understand, but with scissors...
I mean, it's got to be a lie.
My team think it's a lie. I can see why they think it's a lie.
You're happy to go with
we're
lie?
happy to go with lie.
OK. James, were you telling the truth, or was it a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Oh.
It's true. James did break into his own flat halfway through a haircut, and we have a picture of the haircut.
Oh, my God.